sensitive people and non-force sensitive people to episode 36.
Damn.
We're up to 36, guys, and it's been a ride. Thank y'all for listening. I've been seeing like our listens have been getting up there. We just hit 2K listens.
Yeah,
So
dude. That's wild.
welcome to
Appreciate
our
y'all.
returning listeners. Welcome to our first time, long times. And I am the Brown Steve Jobs mixed with Steve Austin, aka Ariel Wren, aka it's just me, Ozzy Mandias. Here joined by the Custoser from the Lost Borough, Clown Prince, and all the way from all the way from all the way all the way from Piscataway, New Jersey.
Oh my Jesus Lord.
You chose
Our
the
senior
Scataway.
DC, our trusty DC senior correspondent, COO TD Bank, and president of stats of the Boston Celtics, Zoom.
Hello.
And also welcoming back, consistency is key. Bon Wick, aka Magneto, is here with us as well. So shout out to you, my guy, and you are chilling with villains. So, guys, we saw Rise of Skywalker. So this is a Rise of Skywalker podcast. So spoiler alert.
Yes.
Like you've been warned, and I think I've given you enough time. Anyway, so
that was intimidating. Like you've been warned.
So yeah, guys, we saw that shit, and we're gonna give you our review about it. We're gonna talk about it, how we felt about it, and that's it. So, anybody want to start us off on how they felt?
I think these Star Wars,
bro.
Oh, all right, guys. So thanks for listening.
Yeah, our Star Wars correspondent should start it off.
Yeah, kick it off.
Yeah, I forgot to intro. Damn. No,
Wow.
I'm pussy. Nah. Let me give a round of applause.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm reintroducing the Oscar nominee for Extra of the Year, a.k.a. Bon Wick, a.k.a. Senior Lucasfilm Star Wars correspondent, Magneto. Please lead us off with this Rise of Skywalker in-depth review.
I don't know what all that trash talk is about. I don't know what all the trash talk about the movie was. It was really, really good. It's probably out of the trilogy. It's my number one favorite, even though I only saw it once. But
yeah,
I know for sure it's my favorite.
Out of the new trilogy.
Exactly, yeah, definitely out of the new trilogy. And it's pretty high in the knowledge out of all 9. But but basically what I was telling like Junior is like I really like how they really use the Force a lot, and like I never liked how much they didn't use it before. It was kind of annoying, but like they really showed how powerful like the Force is, and it's kind of cool that they showed it now because apparently, like Palpatine was saying, like both of them are really strong, and with the Force. So I guess it kind of makes sense when you put all 9 together. But yeah, definitely a really good movie. There's not a lot that I found. There's really no flaws for me. Yeah, it was dope. Palpatine was sick. The visuals were sick. The sound effects were dope. The movie was fat.
Come on, man. Why you gotta take my
just say it's fat?
I forgot you didn't say that, Junior.
All right, so Mark's
predictions.
Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
I predicted before that Kylo was gonna become Ben again and come back, and I predicted that Rey was in some sort of relevance to Palpatine. I did not know that she was gonna be like his granddaughter, but I kind of figured like he either made her or whatever, like he's responsible for her. So that was pretty sick, like seeing that was actually true. So I'm hype.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
Who's up next?
I'll go. I guess.
Go. I just fought it on my mic, so you definitely go.
Okay.
I want to stay far away from my mic right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yo, Wally.
Um,
Wait,
yeah.
Brian. Brian,
Yo,
what's your rating out of 10?
out of 10, boy, I don't know. I think it's early to rate it, but if I were to rate it right now, like right after walking out, it'll be like it'll be like a 9.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Uh, so I definitely think this is the best of the new trilogy, like you were saying. And again, people just need to go see this movie with an open mind. And even if you didn't like The Last Jedi, like I personally didn't think it was that bad. But I mean, I know definitely a lot of people did think it was like terrible and like whatever. But like even so, like just go into this with as much of an open mind as you can, just because you never know. Like you might actually end up enjoying it. And I loved the what's his name, Kylo Ren's arc, this entire trilogy. I think it was like phenomenal,
Yep.
and he really showed like his, not only his acting and stuff like that, but just like um it was just really good. It was like really like it fit well, I should say. It fit well, and it was
Mm-hmm.
well executed, and that's probably like one of my favorite parts is just like the Kylo and Rey relationship. That was like interesting and very cool to see. Um, if I had to pick out a flaw, my biggest flaw would be that Finn never really told Rey how he felt. Like it
Mm.
was just like they kind of hyped it up for 3 movies, and then at the end they kind of just said, "Ah, fuck it." I felt like so I was like, whatever. Uh, that was a little disappointing for me, but um, if I had, and then for giving it a rating, I'd give it a 8.5 or a 9. So I definitely enjoyed watching
Yeah.
it.
All right.
Yeah.
Dope.
What's good? What's
Clown
good, Junior?
Prince.
Yeah, so I just want to address this because I find it funny how back in 2015, when The Force Awakens was released, I was not cursed with knowledge on Star Wars. I had absolutely zero intentions of watching any of the movies. But Brian actually and like a couple of our other friends, like we went to the movies to watch it,
Yeah.
and a friend of mine and we got sauced before the movie, and we knocked out. We knocked out. I only woke up when Han got killed. I was like, oh shit. I was like, what happened? But so I just want to say that my journey to Star Wars has been a very tricky one. So then I realized, especially once we started, the page had started and we started posting more about comic stuff and just pop culture. I was like, you know what? I'm eventually gonna have to see this shit. So that's what I did. I watched the original trilogy. I watched the prequel trilogy, and then I never actually got to rewatch The Force Awakens until yesterday. I watched it again, watched it over again yesterday. So what we did yesterday was we met up, we watched that, and we watched The Force Awakens. So it was me, Zoom, and Magneto.
Right, you
Last
watched
So we
Jedi.
Force
watched,
Awakens and the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
yeah, and so that's why I wanted to say, although I I kind of have to see it from a different lens, a different viewpoint, Star Wars, just because I wasn't, and probably obviously you guys too, because none of us were alive when the original trilogy came out. And I like, to me now, especially, y'all know I'm a big advocate for Zack Snyder, and I have so much appreciation for like visuals in movies now. Like this movie was just so visually pleasing to look at, and I have so much respect for that in terms of story. Like it helps with the storytelling a lot if the visuals are just that much more attractive. Same thing I said for Aquaman. The visuals were just insane. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing I really wanted to point out was the visual effects. I thought that was awesome.
Hell
A
yeah.
lot of the complaints that I've been seeing has been from the storytelling, and what I want to get into a little later with y'all is the switch in directors from J.J. Abrams then to what's his name?
Ryan
Um,
Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's just Ryan.
Mark, you were saying something different yesterday. How do you say
Uh,
his name?
I thought it was like Rian Johnson.
Nah, it's Ryan. He just Ryan.
Pussy. Whatever.
Nah,
yeah.
Ryan's pussy for spelling his name like that. I've
Damn,
ne-
bro.
I've never seen a Ryan spelled Riann. But okay, I
Rand.
so
Rian.
Rianne, exactly, Rian. But okay, so Ryan Johnson,
You
back to
ever met a
JJ.
Brian who spells the name with an M?
Nah,
Yeah,
bro, you
you
the
know.
only one.
Nah,
You
that's
one of
that's
one.
that's some dumb shit.
Yo, don't give my name away. What the fuck?
So yeah, so I think that had a lot to do with the actual um problems that people were having with the storytelling. But especially watching these movies back to back to back, I saw like it was consistent, and that's what I appreciated from that. Like they're not telling a completely different, although they did change directors, it's not telling a completely different story.
Yeah,
So I don't know where people, of course, everybody has their own opinion. So you can't say that you're wrong on this. But our podcast, we're known for telling people they're wrong. So, oh yeah,
yeah,
y'all
Staying
opinions are
on
wrong,
brand.
right?
definitely wrong. Definitely
But
wrong.
so we'll get into that more when we get there. But yeah, so the visuals, the storytelling, and like Mark said, the overall story arc of Kylo Ren, I thought that was a huge positive point for the whole trilogy and this movie as a whole. Oh, some sirens in the background. But so that my take on it, I'll probably give it an 8.5 right now. It is my favorite. Yeah, I'll say it's my favorite of the trilogy, but The Force Awakens is a real close second. I really enjoyed The Force Awakens, but yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 and it is my number one for now.
All right. Um. Well, let me just start off with love. So, round of applause for J.J. Abrams, for Ryan Johnson, and for J.J. Abrams again, because J.J. Abrams actually produced everything.
Like all
He's the
three.
reason. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a producer on all three.
Do you know
But
why they had that change in directors?
no, because JJ,
Was he doing something else?
I think he was busy with something else at the like when it was time when time came around for production to start on Last Jedi. But Ryan Johnson had an idea in the tuck for at least for a vision for directing Star Wars, because this story was already laid out by JJ.
Got you.
Basically, what I think happened was that Disney hired JJ, like, yo, like, we want a new trilogy, but we also want to close out this 42-year-old story that is like already kind of like, okay, guys, like Star Wars, like, is, if they would have kept on with this whole Skywalker bullshit, it would have like been like some General Hospital shit. Like, yo, you've been on TV since I was a kid, and before that, and you're still going.
Right.
Like Grey's Anatomy. Like, stop. It's enough. And any Grey's
Grey's
Anatomy fans
Anatomy.
out there, if y'all offended, too bad.
My ass.
But but yeah, I just think that JJ did what he could, bro. Like, I don't think that this new trilogy deserves the hate it's getting,
Not at
solely
all, man.
because it's literally people taking 42-year-old material and going, all right, how can we freak this in a new, refreshing way?
And keep it Star Wars.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
keep it Star Wars and expand again. Like, I'm gonna call it the Lindelofing, where you just take material that's already been made
Yeah.
that precedes you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Decades, and you just try to, like, again, make it new and fresh and funky. So again, kudos to JJ and Ryan and JJ again for doing their thing, because, bro, like, what more could you ask for? To be honest, like,
Yeah,
I
of
I
course,
I
dude. Like there were
yeah.
flaws. Like if you go through all three, of course there's flaws, but no trilogy, no movie is not going to have flaws. But there were never like flaws that you look at and you're like, wow, this made the movie a bad experience for me.
Exactly.
At
Nothing.
least that's how I
Yeah.
felt.
Yeah. Like, there was nothing really in my. Even though I was sauced while I was watching it, it was fine. It's fine. It's fine. I was in a
It's
galaxy far, far
fine.
away too, but I was there too. But the thing is that, like, I'm here watching it, and I'm like, yo, this is almost like it was a joy. Literally, like, it was enjoyable.
Yeah,
Like, off the bat, from when the music started, I'm like, oh, like, it's that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, when
Yeah.
when your favorite show comes on and, like, you hear, like, the intro music, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, and then you're
Like,
reading like what's going on,
exactly, yeah.
and then
So
you see
like,
the stars. And you're like, bet, here we go.
exactly.
The
Like, here we go again. Like,
J.J.
Oh, shit.
Abrams even said, like, he was like, listen, with a movie like this, like, whatever I do, one person's gonna love it, another person's gonna hate it.
exactly.
Like it's gonna, like, even down to like microscopic choices, like music choices and other things. Like
Yeah,
people are
I've
gonna like,
seen that.
yeah, like he like people are just gonna hate it or they're gonna love it. Like I can't please everyone,
Exactly.
and
And I,
the
yeah, go
fact
keep
that
going.
like people like expect it to be like this, movies like this, like, oh, if the critics are saying it's bad, then it's bad. It's like
Yeah,
you have to understand that, especially with movies like this, like these blockbuster, like, like stuff, like you have to go into it, you like completely like open minded, because again, the directors know, and pretty much everyone should know, I feel like, that these things are going to be polarizing. It's
right.
like when you're dealing with fan lore and all this other stuff, like you really have to understand that before you go into these movies, or else you're
I,
going to come out and thinking, like, looking for flaws, or going in looking for flaws,
yeah,
and you're not going to enjoy it
I
as much.
I kind of want to sit down with someone who doesn't like the new trilogy or who just didn't like this movie, and I just want to have a discussion. Not, it doesn't have to be a debate. Just I just want to see where their mind is at with all this,
Sit with
because
sit
I,
with
I've
Ian. You could actually do that because Ian doesn't like the new. My boyfriend Mark, he doesn't like the new. I guess the first two movies. He didn't watch the third one yet, so he
right.
probably still won't
He
like
need
it.
to go hug his mom then.
Nah, but
I found that like a lot of the people that hate on it, they're always like making jokes about it. They don't really give you like a, like they'll point out two things and they'll be like, yeah, that shit was bad. That whole movie was bad because of like two flaws
Yeah,
or
yeah.
So
two
they
things I didn't
nitpick.
like.
right.
Eh,
So
eh,
that's gonna go to my point that I wanted to mention with things like Star Wars, with things like the DCEU, with things like Game of Thrones. If it doesn't go the way people expect, I think that's when people start going like, wait. But people say this. This is why I love to hear this. This is what they were supposed to do. Right. But you're not writing it.
Yeah,
You're
who
not
the hell
doing
are
And on top
you
of that,
to say what the hell they were supposed to do?
no,
right.
but then
Like,
if they do that, then they'll go, "Oh, that was predictable." Like, yo,
Right.
what do
yeah,
you want?
So
it's so
I
true.
think it like and we've recently just seen it with Watchmen as well. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this is not staying true. Like this isn't Watchmen, so I'm gonna stop watching it." And it's just I think anything that's blowing up in pop culture, because like Game of Thrones, bro, I swear to you, on everything I love, before season 8 came out, I never heard any Game of Thrones slander ever. Everyone was like, "This is the greatest show of all time. You have to
Yeah,
see it." Blah blah blah. This and that. The second like something doesn't go their way, they're like, "Yo, I'm not even going front." After season 4, that shit started to get ass. After this, it started to be butt,
that's so true.
bro.
It's so
And
true.
when I remember when the Force Awakens came out, I remember because I wasn't a Star Wars fan, and all these Star Wars fans, yo, that shit was fucking hot. You have to go see that. And then and like going back to Mark's point with the Last Jedi, a lot of people didn't like Luke's arc. So they were like, yo, that whole movie was garbage. Matter of fact, this whole trilogy that they're about to have is gonna be garbage. The Force Awakens is garbage now, even though previously I
Yeah,
said it was fucking dope.
and
I think people just hop on bandwagons
yep,
nowadays.
100%. It's cool to be negative, bro.
It is cool to be negative.
Oh
and
yeah.
Yeah,
and
but
and and also a lot of the flaws, I guess, are that people had, or like, yeah, a lot of things that people didn't like in the Last Jedi were kind of addressed in uh in this last movie. Like, like all of a sudden when Leia like used the Force and flew in space, like you see her training and you see her actually like understanding like that she's a
Yeah,
Jedi. Like,
we get that
and
connective tissue.
yeah, you
People
get,
aren't patient, and
yeah.
that's not to say we're perfect. 'Cause, Mark, you and I said the same thing. We're like, yo, what the fuck? That's bad
Oh yeah,
random. Like, why did
yeah.
you
I said the
know?
same thing, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. My fault. I'm not
And
gonna be like, wow, like that's still stupid. Why didn't they show it before? Like,
right,
like when people are proved wrong, or proved like or their point is proven wrong in the future, they try to change up the angle, like
Right.
instead of saying why did they do that, they'll say why didn't they do that before this, so then I wouldn't have said that.
Right. And
So like you get a lot of that too.
and also what I wanted to say to those listening that did not like the movie, we're not saying
You have to like it.
right. All we're
Yeah.
saying is if you don't like it, give us
A
reasonable
solid reason.
right. Because I have not read anything yet that's been a solid reason. Remember, I showed you guys this morning. Someone had wrote in one sentence, can someone please explain what the fuck this new trilogy was about?
Implying that it's too complicated.
Like,
You're an
what do you
absolute
mean?
Idiot.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you
And then
mean?
somebody responded too, right? What did the person say? They were like,
They literally said there's like it's about a poor girl
Yeah.
who starts to learn
orphan girl.
about a poor orphan girl that starts learning about how to use the force
boom.
in one sentence.
And finds
That's
a
all
family.
it took.
And like finds a
And
family.
and
Yeah.
finds a family along the way.
And
There you go.
also, and that's another thing. Like I think also Magneto was saying this too when you brought that up. It's like, do all movie plots need to be summed up in one sentence? Like, is
Also,
that
exactly.
that's what
So
you
what
that's
are you
what you
trying to
want?
say?
Like this
No,
is
but
this
it's
is
not
so
just that.
it's so
Simple-minded.
spoon fed, so spoon fed. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I don't want to bring this back to Marvel, but so I'm gonna just say because there are a lot of movies also that
Shots
like a lot
fired.
not Marvel,
Brace
not Marvel.
yourself.
Other than
Brace
Marvel,
yourself.
I'm saying other than Marvel. I'm
Use
saying
use the
'cause
use the
I
use the
always
Fast
say
and Furious. Use the Fast and Furious.
yeah, exactly. Fast and Furious.
Oh, whoa. Hold on. Chill.
What?
I am the Universal Pictures correspondent for Fast and Furious.
Okay.
Oh my God.
It's kind of spoon fed though to a point.
No, it is. It's very
Like
campy. and
which is
cheesy.
fine. Like I'm not bashing it at all. Like Fast and Furious,
Exactly.
if you enjoy it, good for you. Like, but sometimes don't you want a plot that's like, wow, I have no idea what's gonna happen next. That's something
Yeah.
that this last movie really did a great job of.
Yeah,
like,
where people make
I
like,
had
theories
no
and
clue.
create theories and fucking like
Yeah,
imagine
isn't that
all
fun?
the
Like,
possibilities.
yeah,
like,
that's the
like,
fun part.
That's why BVS is good.
Yeah,
Release the Snyder Cut.
There's the Snyder Cut, though.
I
Yeah.
didn't even want to get into that. I did
But,
not even want to get
like,
into that.
dude, like throughout the entire movie, I was like, okay, like Rey's gonna stay. Rey's gonna be a Jedi. We good. Then
Yeah, I
the other
didn't-
times I'll be like, oh shit, she about to be a Sith. Oh shit, and I keep going back and forth, and I'm like, oh my god, and that was what made like the movie so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
she
Where-
blew up the transport ship, I was like, that's
Yep.
it right there.
No,
yeah,
we're gonna
I
we're
know.
gonna get into
I said
that.
the same thing. I was like,
We're gonna
oh
get into
no.
that.
Wait,
But-
hold up.
What's up?
Hold up. Junior,
Yes, sir.
rate the fucking movie.
Oh yeah.
I rated it. It's Ariel that needs to rate it.
What did you give
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I gave it an 8.5.
Yeah, just
Okay.
started running on a tangent. It's fine though. It's
Yeah,
fine.
we did.
Right.
Sorry.
yeah,
we
alright,
interrupted. We
disrespectful.
interrupted you.
It's cool, it's fine,
How
'cause-
rude of us.
No, it's cool because
Fuck
a
it.
lot of
I'ma
what y'all
hang
were
up.
saying.
I'm gonna mute my mic, yo. Let me know when you're done.
Matter of fact, Ariel, just take over. Just talk.
Yeah.
It's just me
Yeah.
by myself
It's
talking.
just you. See you later.
All right,
Nah,
Ozzy,
but-
let's hear it.
But no, I really like that you guys mentioned what you mentioned because a lot of these things need to be said. Like
Absolutely.
because we live in a time where in a microwave era where people if they want results now, they want content now, they want everything to go the way that they want because the public is
I love
very
that saying.
spoiled.
The microwave era.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I love
Yeah.
that
Because-
yeah. They don't want
because,
to
like-
turn on the grill. They don't want to,
they don't want to let shit cook, man.
No.
Yeah, word.
Nah, but
course.
like again, people are very afraid and very xenophobic to the Lindelofing, like of just taking a character, make them complex, or taking a story that has already
Yeah.
been told and
Yeah, and-
expounding upon it.
Like there's nothing wrong with that. I feel
Exactly.
like.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I do not mind that The Force Awakens is basically A New Hope modernized.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind that. I
Yeah,
don't
and
mind
like I
that.
said, the old movies came out so long ago. You got all these new people that are gonna watch Star Wars. Like, what if they kind of reuse it a little bit in a different way? It's just like like you said,
Exactly.
it's a modern version. Like,
Exactly.
So on to that point. So you guys are saying, The Force Awakens is very much like one of the previous movies that were in the original, right?
Yeah.
A
Would
New
you
Hope.
A New Hope. Would you say that the Last Jedi, maybe the reason why people didn't like it as like at all, was because it wasn't an exact replica of any other movie?
No, I just think that there was so much new
Right.
material that was
But
presented.
I think they
Like,
just didn't
but
like what
look
they
but
did
look-
with Luke.
but look at what you just said though. Like he said, like you said that people didn't like Force Awakens because it stuck too much to a previous mold. They break the mold.
They don't
Wow,
like
what
it
the fuck
either
are
way.
you guys doing?
exactly.
This
Like,
isn't the Force.
This
The
is
Force has never done this before. We've never seen any of these.
I actually know the
Why?
Force and I study it.
Yeah,
So
I know the Force. I majored in it. All right.
and you know what's
So
weird? You know what's really like not weird, but it's Luke was saying in the movie, which is so true. Like I'm talking about the Last Jedi. When has the Jedi and Brian always talked about this before we watched it last night? The Jedi have never been like reliable.
Yeah,
Every time they train somebody, the person goes to the dark side. So it's like what
or if it's somebody important, like for example, we all saw how it turned out with Anakin.
the
yeah. I mean,
fucking
Yeah.
Obi-Wan
no,
failed. Obi-Wan
right.
failed.
And it's like and Luke failed Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
So that's
what
what
like
I was literally telling Ray that in the Last Jedi. It was like the
yeah,
Jedi is directly responsible for
so
training
much shit.
Anakin, who
Yep.
became Vader, and then I'm directly responsible for creating Kylo. So like the Jedi are responsible, and like their ways
They
and their
create.
techniques
Yeah,
are
they create their own problems.
and then
Exactly.
people
and
people
they're
gave him the
blind.
Superman treatment. People gave him the he's supposed to be hopeful. He's supposed to be this. He's supposed to be that.
Oh,
That's
please.
true. That's a
But
good comparison that you
it,
made before we
but
were
it's
But
talking
like
about
it's just like Batman and Batman vs Superman, how he's different, and everyone complained about it. But like you don't know what he went through. Like
it.
especially
Yeah.
Luke, you have this big gap,
Uh,
and everything that he went through, like he's gonna be different. Like he went through a
Yeah.
lot of
Exactly.
shit.
And
My
he spent over 30 years on that planet by himself, and it's because of everything that happened in Return of the Jedi. He was like, "All right, like I think that what Luke was looking for, I think that I like how they summed that up. Like if I guess if I'm finishing up the review.
sorry.
yeah, we're like
It's
20
fine.
minutes
Yeah,
in and he
yeah.
hasn't finished his own review.
He's like, oh wow, this is the first time I'm getting to speak all time. Okay.
Nah, it's fine. I don't mind, guys. It's fine. But
He does.
Yeah, right.
I just really dig like what they did with that, like how they did how it just didn't seem like, oh, conveniently Luke was also looking for Palpatine. No, this is directly connected to him because his father was trained by Palpatine. His father was got put on to the dark side by Palpatine. He's been pulling the strings ever since. So this makes complete sense, and I'm completely fine with everything that happened because
Yep.
I love my mom and I love my girl. All right, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I give it a solid. It was really solid, 8.5 out of 10, and we'll get into our I guess episode rankings later on.
Right.
I'm not gonna
But
rank all of them. We could just rank.
I already have my
Okay,
set.
now we could rank not like not including Rogue One, not including Solo. Like let's just rank
The
the
episodes.
like yeah, exactly.
All right, yeah, off the top of my head right now, it's 7, 9, 8, 5.
Damn.
Oh wow, yeah, you really like the new trilogy then.
Holy
That's your
shit.
top
Yeah.
three.
That's your
Yeah,
top
bro.
three. Wow.
I'm not a listen.
Well, you
I
said
am not.
seven's your number one.
Yeah,
Force Awakens.
is the cleanest,
That shit is
best
dope.
edited.
It was
No, you
dope.
know what? Is one of the best edited Star Wars. But if I watch The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker again, like I'm kind of stumped on like what I like better because Last Jedi was awesome, but the action in Rise of Skywalker completely beats that shit out. So I might put 9 as number 2 and 8 as the third, and then Empire Strikes Back is my favorite out of the old shits.
Yeah. I think
And
that's
then after-
everybody's.
Yeah.
And then after Empire, I don't mind the New Hope, and then after New Hope, I like
The Last
Episode
Jedi.
3. No, I like Episode 3. Wait, I like
Episode
only
3 was
Episode
good.
3 because it shows basically how Anakin became Darth Vader. Like, and
Right.
the fight between him and Obi-Wan was great. And then it goes. So I said 3, and then Episode 6, 2, and 1.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Mine going I'm going down to up. So my least favorite to my favorite.
All right.
So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Cause yikes. And then we'll do. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
Man, so 1, 2, 3.
we'll do 6, 4. We'll do 6, 4, 5. Wow, yeah, my top 3 is also the new trilogy. You know why? You know what? So
Because we
and
not old niggas. That's why.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just plain and true.
What you say?
Like I can appreciate because we're not old. We're not old heads.
Oh,
Like
right.
I can appreciate it for its time. But bro, seeing that shit in cinema, like I said, the visuals nowadays play a big role for me. And when I see that shit, I'm like, that shit is dope. But don't get me wrong, for its time, the ones in the 80s and the 90s, they were fire. Like, of course. But they don't ignite that same spark in me like the new one did.
Yeah, I think it's
So,
because I think the reason people, at least the reason I feel like how I feel about it, because all right, George Lucas started something great, right? He
yeah.
started this saga that was awesome, right? But I guess his directing wasn't up to par with how JJ's is and how Ryan Johnson's is, because
Right.
when it comes to sci-fi, JJ's that guy. Like, just look at what he did with Star Trek.
Bro, not even that, bro. Just any action scene in this new trilogy, every one of them was just dope.
Exactly, it's fire. So, like, come on, like, let's be realistic now.
Right.
The
But the
the
thing is, we can't convince an old head like that. They'll be
No,
like,
I
oh,
don't
what do you
care.
No, I
Yeah,
don't care
because
either. I'm
they
not trying
watched
to.
it when it came out.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh,
Nah,
back
but
then,
yeah,
if you seen it the way I did, you would have been saying what you
nah,
saying.
fam,
All right,
nah,
bro.
no,
Go
no,
hug your
no, no,
mom.
thank you, no, thank
Go
you.
hug your mom. I'll go hug mine.
But yeah, Brian, what's your ranking?
So mine is from top down.
Mm-hmm.
Be 9, 7.
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah, 9, 7, 8, 5, 3, 4, 6, 2, 1.
Wow, similar to mine. I like it. I fuck
Yeah.
with it. Like, there's no way. Like, I get
Like
Empire Strikes
3's
Back
like
is every.
3 was so good for me, bro. Like, cause I just watched it when it came out, and like
right.
just experiencing that after like the fucking old ass movies, like it was just sick. And I watched it before the old ones because I was young. So
And
I
those
Yeah,
didn't.
movies,
yeah.
and if
It
anything,
was. It was
those
like
movies have terrible like acting, like
They do,
atrocious
but
acting.
the
Anakin's
story, the
acting has
story
to
is
be
so
top
good.
5 worst acting I've ever seen.
Yep. I
That shot
hate the
fire.
sand.
I hope
I
it
hate the sand. It's rough. It gets everywhere.
No.
Come on, guys. Like, let's honestly be realistic with all this. Like, those older movies do not hold up. Like, a lot of times people let nostalgia cloud their judgment, and it's just like, fam, keep it real with yourself. Like, don't tell me that all these old shits are like, oh my gosh, bro, it's a masterpiece.
The original
Like,
Jaws is doo doo.
yeah, exactly. Original Jaws is trash.
Tobey Maguire. I totally feel you.
Yo, put some respect on Spidey's name, my guy. Yo, yeah, give me your ranking so we can go on break. If you're gonna be tight, give me your ranking.
Yes, man, what's up?
Probably the same as Ozzy, except 9 and 7 are switched.
Oh, 7 is number. Oh, so you okay? I see
2.
what you did.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's dope.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's
All right,
let's go on
so
a quick
yeah.
break, right? And then we'll break down the movie.
All right, mask.
Do me a favor, please. Yeah. Go to commercial.
All right, yeah. So we back. We're just gonna, touch on more of the film, like going, I guess, a bit more in depth. There are gonna be things that we miss that like we probably won't talk about. So in the comments, like, I could, discuss it amongst each other. And once again, spoilers. And once again, if you didn't like it, I don't really care. Move on with your life. And yeah. So
Your opinions are wrong. Remember that.
But
Yeah,
also
for real.
on top of that, there is no better place to go than here to just talk about Star Wars or anything in general. So once again, thank you for listening.
Yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, guys. So off the bat, this film had probably the best opening scene.
Fire.
Like,
I
because
felt-
the thing
I-
about
Hell
Kylo
yeah.
Ren, bro, the thing about Kylo Ren that I like is how visceral and how unapologetically himself he is.
Yeah.
even though he's wrong, even though he
Yeah.
feels like.
He
Like,
knows
and they
he's
stay
wrong.
consistent. Exactly. They stay consistent with the films because in The Force Awakens, if you remember, he's like, when he's talking to Snoke, and we'll talk about Snoke later too. Relax. But I just like that. I just like that. Like he said, like, oh, I feel like the light is calling to me. Like I'm still like in this kind of a of tug of war with the dark side and the light side. Like I still feel it inside of me. Like it's there. But I think he just gave in to the dark side because of number one, how it made him feel, which is fine because that's how it works. Like
Right.
the more you feed into it, the better it, like the better you benefit from it.
It's
Yeah.
addicting.
Yeah, it's addicting. And on top of that, he was also like what Luke
He was
said, like
betrayed.
he felt betrayed, he feels fear. He felt like he couldn't look at his mom. Like that was powerful. Like that whole scene there, like what happened with him and his mom and stuff, and even with Han coming back, bro, I was crying.
Yeah, that shit was
Like
dope.
you know what I'm saying? Like that shit, like it was touching because like Kylo Ren, aka Ben Solo, is legitimately like one of those characters that had that arc that is like, fam, I feel him, even though he killed like people mercilessly and all that. Like
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, right.
I understand. No me da pena. Don't get it twisted. Like I don't feel like sorry that he did that. But
I kind of think
like,
that's why he like died, because he wouldn't be able to.
exactly.
Same
It's
thing
one of
with
those.
Vader.
Exactly. Like he's done so much bad that even if he were to go to the good side and just chill,
It
it
was
still
too
wouldn't
late.
have been. Yeah, it's like too like you can't redeem all that. Like that's like I compared Kylo dying. This is gonna sound crazy, but hear me out. To Bucky not getting the shield.
Okay, can you
I don't.
elaborate a little more on that?
All right,
Yeah.
yeah. So the reason I
Oh,
think
I
Bucky.
see. I see what you mean.
Exactly.
Right.
Like Bucky did some fucked up shit. Like, and
Right.
then for him, like to put the suit on, like relax, guy. And then the same thing for Kylo. Like everything that Kylo did, my guy changed his name. Like gave in to a lot of the dark side. Like his face changed because of all that as well. Like I don't know if y'all noticed that.
His
Like when he
face.
came back to the light, like his face like
Right.
wasn't all scrunched up anymore. Like either. Like he didn't have those wrinkles in his face anymore.
He
So
was smiling. He had funny comments like, "Ouch."
exactly. So or when he says zip it and stuff, like come on, like there's aspects of him that I think that it just wouldn't sit right. Like
Yeah.
I don't think the ending of Rise of Skywalker would have hit the same if everybody was alive and fine in the end. You know what I'm saying?
What about his version of like the Darth Vader choke? He just told the guy to shut up and he closed his mouth.
Yeah. He just like pointed his finger at him. He's like, he did the Doctor Strange.
Nah,
Like,
but people what he did to Homeboy too in the conference room, he just shot his ass up to the ceiling. He was like, all right, and put his hands on the table. Like
yeah, dude. Nah, he was definitely a beast. I love that little memento of Darth Vader that he had in his quarters. That he kept looking at, and I just love like the theme song that always plays when anything is mentioned of Vader. Yeah, like again, like I said, like I'm a huge Vader fan. That is the GOAT in my opinion. But I love that they didn't make Kylo go the Vader route, although it was similar. They didn't give us another Vader.
exactly, because
His
they
arc,
weren't trying to do that.
they weren't exactly, and I'm glad they didn't. But that was
They weren't trying to do
really
what?
they weren't
Like
trying
they
to go
weren't
the
trying to
Vader
make another
route
Vader. Yeah, yeah.
and just make
Oh
his
yeah.
story very similar to Anakin. Like, no, they were like, this is a new character. Let's build on him. Yes, that's Vader's grandson, but it's a new character, a whole new human being. Shout out Adam Driver. I think he absolutely killed the role. He's having a great year, honestly.
Oh yeah, round of applause for Adam Driver, yo. This is my guy.
Yeah, I didn't realize how talented of an actor he really was, and these movies, these Star Wars movies, and what was the other one? He was in Black Klansman, right? No, what was the movie?
Yeah, he was in Black
Oh,
Klansman.
that was him. Okay,
Yeah.
and I haven't watched The Marriage Story yet, but heard his acting was pretty solid in that. So,
But
shout
he's
out
a
to him.
solid actor through and through. Like there's nothing about it. Like what did worry me about Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens, I'm like, he's mad emotional and stuff. Like he like a whiny kid.
He has a
But I'm
temper. Yeah, he has a
exactly,
really
but I'm
bad
like
temper.
exactly, but it
Yeah, but
worked
it's
out.
also because he's trying to like prove himself to Snoke, and it's not working, and he's like he can't like fully, and like he sees that, so he gets tight whenever something like gets fucked up. Like
Yeah.
when he says, "Oh, you let a girl take the droid, and like, he was afraid of looking like a little bitch, basically.
Yeah. So I absolutely loved his arc, and I was talking to this about Brian yesterday, Ariel and Mark. Like, he has some big shoes to fill. Like, not only was he under Snoke, he is the grandson of Vader, and he's the nephew of Luke Skywalker. You know how much pressure is on this one guy? Like,
Yeah.
I know. Although obviously Luke is a Jedi, he's not a Sith Lord or anything, but still, that's bloodline, and one way or another, you're gonna have to live up to it. So, and your dad is Han Solo, and Leia. Leia's your freaking mom, and who obviously we find out has the Force within her as well. And we see that with the training when the great CGI on Luke's face and her face in the forest training.
I love that because again, it reminded people like, yo, if like Leia could scrap,
Word.
don't get it fucked up. Like she's Darth Vader's daughter too. Like relax.
Word, yeah. Exactly, bro. That whole family, that whole lineage, and we have to take the name of the movie into consideration, The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Although I think a lot of people predicted it would be his rise. It still was, in a way, his rising, the rise of Skywalker. He rose up to the calling of not being a Jedi, but just doing the right thing. And also, going back to the opening scene, because I know we got carried away with Kylo's arc and talking about how great it was. That opening scene felt like a horror movie opening scene to me, because just the location that Palpatine was in, and right off the bat, we just get Palpatine's voice. We get
That was
we get
awesome.
Vader's voice. We get all the Sith Lord's voice. I was like, what? I was like, this shit is starting off like this. And we already see him off the bat. I'm like, oh, they're wasting no time at all with this. They're like, Palpatine's back. Yes, sir. How did I survive? Because A, I'm just a fucking beast, and B, I got all these wires hooked up to my spinal cord.
He and also to address one of the problems in Last Jedi was everyone was like, why would you hype up Snoke so much and then have him die like that, like so quickly or whatever, and then you see here that Snoke was basically a puppet.
Yeah.
And that they have like three Snokes in like a pod just chilling, ready to go. And you see that Palpatine has just been changing his voice and just pretty much manipulating Kylo.
Yep. And we also once again the Force, whether it's dark or light, gets put on full display on how he goes, that voice in your head all these years, that was me, you little pussy. Like, that was all me. Like,
you little pussy.
And not even that, he connected the two of them. He's the one that connected Kylo and Rey. That is
which ended up being the thing that fucked him up.
Yeah, it ended up backfiring. But
one thing I don't get is that Snoke said that he was the one that bridged the connection between them two, but then they were able to do it after he died.
Well, Snoke, it was Palpatine, not Snoke.
Exactly.
Because Snoke is the puppet.
Yeah, whatever. But you're telling me that all those times when they connected to each other, it was Palpatine? In the third movie?
I wouldn't say it was directly Palpatine. I just think that he made it possible for them to have that Force connection, like that Force
so
FaceTime.
They kind of learned how to do it. Force FaceTime. That's good. I like that. I guess, yeah, because then they learned how to do the Force FaceTime and Force fucking teleporting objects.
And since we're speaking of that fight scene was awesome.
Dude, that
was one of the coolest things I've seen.
Especially when you in a galaxy far, far and away in your mind, currently in the movie theater. That scene bugged me out because of the editing.
Bro. I know you were
because
tripping.
he walks, and as he's walking, the camera just wipes, and you just see where
the other background.
Dude. What is it called? Kojima, where they were fighting at.
They were in Kojima.
Oh my goodness! Shout out to Hideo Kojima too.
Yeah, speaking of which, that Kojima itself looked beautiful with the snow and the lighting there, and then the fight between them and her being in.
I hate this, bro.
Her being in the.
Dude,
you know what I think it is, dude?
The lightning in Palpatine's where he was, the noise it made was sick.
Yeah.
You know what I think it is? A lot of people nowadays, I don't want to say a lot of people, but majority of people, they want to see the story and they don't really take other things into consideration. Like we're talking about right now, the editing, the transitions, the visuals, all this to me ties into how good a movie is.
But not
It's
just that, it's one of the highlight aspects of Star Wars. You know Star Wars for its score, for its
Yeah.
characters, for its sound design, for its editing. Like this is one of the most Star Wars movies ever.
Hell yeah.
Even with the dialogue that pays off. Princess Leia going, "Never underestimate a droid," which we've heard before.
yeah.
And then that line of dialogue being repeated by Rey later on, like, "Never underestimate a droid," when BB-8 like clapped the stormtrooper. Like, come
Yeah.
on, man. Like again, yeah, it could come off as cheesy and campy, but dude, it just all fits into that formula of making something enjoyable and with heart.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
This trilogy gets away with all that, whether it's campy, whether it's been like you know, some form of repetition, whether it's just copy paste and you just modernize it. Like, bro, across the board, this film had it. Like, it was just it. Like, if it would have came out in the summer, that would have been fire too. But you know, it's
it needed a winter release.
No, but like that's just their schedule. Like
It is. But okay, question. Because I was talking to one of my boys about this, and he was saying that some parts were amazing, but the story was so convoluted and messy. And the directions they took made me yell, "What the fuck" in the theater, right? So that's what he said. I haven't gotten into details with him about what exactly made him yell, "What the fuck" in the theater. But what do you guys think would make people do that? If you had any options on the movie.
Ray clapping that transport.
Yeah, but that was
No, but I think that's more of like, what the fuck in a damn, like that was beast.
Yeah,
that's how we reacted.
Yo, when she did that, my girl literally yelled out loud, like, "Oh my god," because she knew Chewbacca was on there.
Right, but I'm talking about like what the fuck moment in terms of like, why would they do
maybe
that?
Probably the kiss.
Ray, yeah,
the kiss. I hated that. Absolutely hated it.
Really, you did?
I thought it was unnecessary.
Word?
Unnecessary. I'll
Really?
go hug my mom.
Ariel?
I'll go hug my mom, Ariel. Don't worry about it.
Like to me, there was this underlying tension. I don't know. I felt it.
Thank you.
I didn't.
There was
feel
this there was this sort of underlying tension because remember, there was something about Kylo that Rey couldn't resist, which was like, I guess there was something about him that she's like, oh, maybe I should like join this guy and whatever like we're gonna do.
Yeah, she was always tempted. That's true.
Exactly. That doesn't necessarily mean that Shorty was with it.
Right.
Like,
That's the thing. I didn't take it in a sexual manner. I took it in a way that of the force. But then they kind of perverted it to be sexual, and that's what kind of got me upset.
I don't think it was propped up.
I heard some of the people in the theater go, no, like they're like, oh, come on, like. And I agree with them. I was like, yo, that shit was wild corny. They should have just like hugged.
Nah, but think about it.
Or like he would have just died and.
Think about it. I know we're like all over the place with the story, but it doesn't matter because we're right. So what I understood about that was that, remember, Kylo was bringing Rey back to life, right? Using his force, like basically that kiss was that last bit of life that he had left in him from reviving her.
Okay, if you're taking it more of a symbolic turn.
Exactly. I think it's more than just the kiss because like he falls down and then he becomes, you know, the Force ghost and all that.
So like she knew they wasn't gonna smash. She like that's what you're trying to say.
No,
like, they knew they wasn't gonna smash.
Nah, I don't think there was like a sinister undertone of that. I just think that she was also not just that, is like she was also so happy that he was himself there. She was like, Ben.
Right.
And she smiled. Like, I think that was powerful, bro. Like right there, like Ben.
And then like how he smiled and laughed too. Like that was
exactly
that was
like
strong.
It was bliss. It was just a moment of bliss. And again, in that bliss, he completely forgot that he used all of him to bring her back.
What about when Rose kissed Finn? That was fucking weird. Like out of nowhere. You remember
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, in the Last Jedi, yeah. Like a peck on the she like gave him a little peck there.
I know.
Further elaborated.
I know I'm gonna get hate on this, but I've seen this going around on Twitter. because a lot of people were complaining how Rose, you know, as an Asian woman, got no representation now in this movie.
Yeah, but in the Last Jedi, they
And the
fucking ripped her to
right.
shreds.
But here's my thing. I did not like Rose in the Last Jedi. I absolutely didn't. I thought the whole thing between her and Finn was completely unnecessary. I thought Finn should have had a completely different role in that movie because in the Force Awakens he was dope. Like I was fucking with him, and he had a more prominent role
Finn
here.
That get,
Listen,
yeah.
it would have been cooler if it was Finn and Poe on that planet.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't give.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna get attacked
You're
for this.
racist. It's fine.
No,
Man,
no, not
please,
that.
don't-
But look,
don't
No, it don't
apologize for
matter.
that shit.
I'm not gonna apologize. You're right, Ariel.
We're not
Nah,
pussy, bro.
I'm sorry. I did not like Rose's character. I did not like her arc, and I'm glad she didn't get more screen time in this movie. I really am just glad about that. I'm sorry.
I think this again. There are certain things. Yeah, there are certain directors that do put red herrings. Like I feel like Ryan Johnson, like when he did The Last Jedi, I think he just needed like I guess the studio was just like yo, like JJ was just like yo, do something with Rose and Finn because maybe he couldn't figure it out or something because. For example, The Last Jedi had a certain tone to it. Like it was pretty like that whole Rose and Finn when they went to Space Vegas, like that
Right.
shit was weird.
Yeah.
Like it was out of nowhere. Like there was a whole like it's weird. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Like if you would have
So-
cut that out of the movie, like it would have been fine.
That's
But-
why that's like.
But
top-
no,
top
it
three.
wouldn't have been fine. But that's why I think where people are getting it confused because I think people go, oh, that's bad storytelling. But it's not because that part was needed. But what Brian said, if it was Poe and Finn that did that, I would have been cool with that. I'd have been like, yo, this is dope. The boys are back. They're getting shit done in Vegas. What's up? So
All right, let's
So-
go back. Let's go back to the movie we're trying to review. Not
yeah.
The Last Jedi.
I know, but it's just that because it's the conclusion. Like a lot of parts we need to
Yeah.
take from the Force Awakens and take from the Last Jedi.
Yeah, that's true. But
But
it's just like I said, like that kiss, if anything, was worse than the Kylo and than the Ben and Ray kiss. The Ben and,
And-
Ray, like I don't mind it. Like I said, if they didn't, I would have been like, damn, they should have kissed.
yeah,
Like, nah,
Yeah.
it's just like it happened and then he died, and whatever. Who gives a fuck?
and I should stop complaining about that because Luke and Leia kissed and they're brother and sister. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't hear none of the OGs bitching about that. But I guess
They always bring up
Exactly.
like, oh yeah, that was kind of weird, but they don't use it as like a.
right. They like brush by it like, oh, it happens. He didn't
Yeah.
know. Luke didn't know.
Yeah, fam. I kiss my sister all the time. It's by mistake though.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but
Like no. Yo, I fuck with what's his name? What's that droid's name? The new droid, the cone droid.
Oh,
I said his name like
Dio?
once.
I
just
don't know.
like
Something like a
Boba
B.
Frick.
we'll
Baba
call him
Frick?
we'll call him Conehead.
I like Baba
Fam,
Frick.
I loved it when I think Ray went to pet him or whatever. He was like, no,
Dio.
thank you.
No, thank you,
Dio.
Yeah, it's Dio.
D-O.
But
Yeah, I love that.
Go,
No,
going
thank
back, I love the training that Ray like she was, and we saw it in the beginning of the movie where she was picking up the rocks, which was a callback to the Last
He's actually
Jedi.
played by J.J. Abrams. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, word?
The droid is voiced by J.J.
That's
you.
dope.
Lit. Shout out to JJ.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, where it's a callback to the Last Jedi, where she was able to remove the rocks to get the resistance out of that cave they were in, and then we see her. We pick up with her now, and she's meditating with the rocks floating. And what was she saying again?
Be with me.
Be with me.
Be
Yeah.
with
Be with me.
me, which is another
Talking about
callback
the
when we get
Force.
to when we go on to later. And Brian brought up a point that he's like, oh, we don't really hear any other Jedi saying that. And now thinking more about it is because I think she's so conflicted, and she was conflicted the whole trilogy. She's been so conflicted that she kind of needs that to remind herself, like I need the
Exactly.
I need the Jedi way. I don't need the dark side.
Exactly.
So she's like, be with me. And it's kind of, I see it as a desperate call. Like, please, like, don't, I like, you can't let go of me and I can't let go of you because I don't want to see
Yeah.
myself what I can become. And we
Right.
get that
Woo!
dope scene, fire, right? Bars, mic drop, stupid.
Yeah, I'm
Mama
dropping
out.
bombs on that.
Damn son.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
But
Yeah, it's crazy how they knew that, like Luke and Leia knew about her being a Palpatine.
Yes. And they
But
they had so much trust in her.
No,
she wouldn't turn.
Mark, that's what Finn knew. That's what Finn knew about her being a Palpatine.
Could be.
That is
100%
what it is, because he said it to Poe. He was,
and
like,
also because
I
he
have to
wasn't
tell
sure
her.
that if she knew that or not.
Wait, what?
Okay. Mark,
all right, everyone, just relax. Mark, remember how you said your biggest flaw was how?
Yeah.
Yeah, what Finn was trying to tell her when they thought that they were gonna die is that she's a Palpatine. He wanted to tell her that because he knew, because he said it to Poe later when she was taking the whatever the thing is called.
Like, I'm confused. Like, how did he figure it out?
Leia told. I'm getting to that. When he told Poe, he was like, "Oh, I know what she's fighting," because he knows who she is, and Leia knows as well. So Leia is the one who told Finn.
You think that, or
no? That it makes sense.
I'm pretty positive.
I mean, it makes sense.
There's
no way
there's no way that Finn would be like, "I got to tell you something," and then the movie ends and he never told her. Like, what he was trying to tell her in that movie, not the trilogy, in that one movie, was that she's related to Palpatine.
Well, also, but I mean, but you could also tell that I don't know. I could see. I see that. Like, they also mentioned it throughout the first two movies, basically, that he likes her.
Not really.
Yeah, but I think he got over that. No, they didn't really mention that at all. I think he had a crush on her in the first one, but they got over it on the second one. It kind of became more of like a friendship. And you see it in the third one.
That's why that kiss from Rose, like, it was to show us, like, I bet, like, he probably not gonna end up with Rey.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think Star Wars is also like
trying to romanticize them, like
exactly in terms of romanticizing a friendship or something.
Yeah,
we only saw that really with Han Solo and Leia.
Yeah,
if you really want to go back on what they've been about and all that, but like it matters none really.
I'm so happy I just realized that, because that was bugging me, like, because I was like, what the fuck was Finn trying to tell her?
Right. Nah, that's a great point, man.
Makes
sense. That's an awesome point. So, but going back to Rey's arc, so we get to her training, and then she's like, she goes to Leia. She's like, I will earn your brother's oh my god, lightsaber. Yeah. I thought that was fire. I was like, yeah. I was like, she definitely gonna earn it. But then again, back to what Mark said, they did a great job at still giving us, like, yo, is she gonna turn? Like, we don't know still.
Oh my god, when she went to Kogi, whatever, Exegol.
Kogi?
Hexagon, something like that.
No, it's Exegol.
Exegol.
When she got there and she saw herself as a Sith and she had the double saber, dude.
Yeah, fire.
Oh no, that was on the wasn't that on Exegol. That was somewhere else. That was
that was Exegol.
Death Star.
Oh no, it was the Exegol. Yeah, you're right.
No,
at the Death Star. It was at the Death Star.
Yeah, the Death Star. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
in that little room.
Was it the Death Star?
In that little room. In that little room on the Death Star.
And then they had the boat fight, which was elite.
Nah, that dude, that fight was like, number one, the sound design. Like, I think the best sound, like top 20 sounds in cinematic history, have to be when Kylo Ren turns on his saber and you just hear the
100%.
Yeah, because that shit is so unstable, bro.
That shit,
just like he is.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yo, drop the bomb.
I'm dropping a bomb on that.
Baz.
Like, I legit think that there was so much attention to detail, like that they poured into building his character up, because it's like, fam, down to his accessory, his weapon is like literally as unstable as he is. It has,
and then he throws it out when he becomes stable.
Yeah, when he figure out where he is, he's like, get this shit the fuck out of here.
Yeah, because you know how many bodies that shit got, bro? No, thank you.
And then he, I was telling Junior, like, how when Han Solo came to him, and he was like, they basically repeated what they told to each other when they were on the bridge, and he actually told him. But this time he did the right thing, which is what Han wanted him to do when he was alive. So he threw it out and then called him dad. So they were kind of repeating the same thing, but the outcome was different.
And Han even told him,
he pressed X instead of circle. So
Yeah, he was like, Ben isn't dead. He's like, Kylo Ren is. I was like,
yeah,
word. I was
yep.
like, dope. And they had a very Batman versus Superman like scene. Just how
When Leia
Clark.
said Luke, when Leia said Ben,
Ben.
What? No.
that was my
Uh,
Superman moment. That was my BBS moment.
when no, I was just
Because
talking
that's
about
what
in
made
like
him turn.
in like the Fortress of like Solitude and Batman vs Superman that Clark had when he was talking to Jonathan, and he
That's
was
a
like,
good comparison too, though, Magneto. I feel that.
yeah, no, I feel it too, but that wasn't mine.
Laz.
Nah,
All right.
No,
but
not you,
so
Mark.
Oh,
but so
okay.
I like that I like that scene a lot as well, and just the whole again the cinematography for that, just the waves, the way they were crashing, and just the wind blowing, and all
And
of that
them
just
force
made it.
jumping.
Yeah, that was tight too.
Yeah, that was
But
tight.
When she jumped
I'm
over the
so
wave.
yeah. Ooh,
Ray is like,
that
I
scene was
don't ride the
fire.
wave, my guy. I jump over that shit.
And also when Poe went to go, I mean, sorry, Finn went to go save her, and she said, "Bleep." She
She
said,
said
"Stupid, get
no.
your ass back there." Yeah, she said no and rock that man's shit. Oh, and going back to Rose, real quick, that other girl that Finn was with was way more. I appreciated her more than I did Rose, to be honest with y'all. Like the shorty that was also an ex
Oh, with the
stormtrooper.
gap.
Yeah, with the gap on her teeth. Yeah, her.
You talking about Lando's daughter?
Yeah, exactly. The one that they're gonna explore, I guess, in a prequel now.
Lando's daughter.
In a
That's
prequel
Lando's
movie.
daughter, fam.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know my parents. She's like, well, let's find out. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, what was that about? I don't know.
yeah, that
Random.
was kind of corny. Yeah, I was like,
That
okay,
was
whatever,
weird.
sure.
I guess that
But
was just them showing like, okay, now we have restored
Yeah,
order.
like
I guess.
they're
So
all
let's
gonna
focus
go
on.
figure out their own shit. That like they're all
Yeah.
just gonna go on their own little adventures. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Where
peace
are you
is finally
from?
here.
Thought he was Loki gonna try to smash.
Turn on Mac.
like,
He's
hey,
like,
What the
yo,
fuck?
hey, like
Hey,
let's
yo.
find out.
like, is the force with you?
Oh, Finn confirmed force sensitive. He
Oh
used
yeah.
it like multiple times.
Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah,
has.
like
He
when
has.
feelings
when
that he
Ray
got.
when Ray got clapped.
Yeah, like he sensed that, and then he also felt. He had like those feelings, like
That he kept talking to with the girl with the gap. You know what? Let me stop being disrespectful and actually find out what her name and character.
I just realized what he said. I was like, yeah, the girl with the gap. Yeah. Oh my god.
the ex stormtrooper.
The ex stormtrooper.
Yeah,
You know who was
yeah, let's
fired
just say
too?
that.
Shorty that was the Power Ranger, like low key, like the Purple
Oh,
Ranger,
D.
Zuri.
Yeah, Zuri. Yeah, Zuri Bliss.
Yeah, Kerry
Yo,
Russell.
can we show Baba
Yo.
Frick some love?
Hold on, time out.
Who?
Before we do that,
Baba
who did
Frick.
Lupita play?
Oh, the brain surgeon. Ah.
Yeah, yo, he's mad funny, bro. Oh shit.
Who did Lupita play? That wasn't Lupita.
No, Lupita was the little tangerine looking alien.
That's Lupita.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what she does the voice of that.
With the
Dope.
glasses.
I
Yeah,
didn't
with the
know
goggles that
that.
she puts on and shit.
Yeah, the tangerine lady. Oh, lit. Okay, tangerine. It's Mas Kanata.
Yeah, Maz Kanata. Yo,
Is
but
it?
shout out to
Shout out to
Lupita,
you.
bro.
She be killing. She
Also
killed it
Lupita.
this year too. But damn, you know she's not even credited on IMDb. Shorty with the gap. They're not making it fair for her.
Nah, she's there, bro. She's there.
Oh, I'm sorry. She is Naomi Aki.
They're not making it fair for her.
She looked good. Like she bad. It's just that's I knew her from a gap. It's cool. People know me for my big nose, so we chilling.
Yeah,
But
but you ugly, bro.
oh hi,
No thank
Oh,
you.
hot.
Yeah, what the fuck was
oh
that?
hi. Oh nah, she is bad. Damn.
Nah,
Alright,
but
hold on. Give
you
me 2 seconds. I'll call you right back. All right.
Oh my god.
Oh, hey, whoa.
Hey yo. Nah, but what I did like is the fake out. Like I legit was like, fam, I didn't come here to cry. Like how y'all clap Chewbacca like that? And I'm like, oh shit. It's that moment was just so like the whole theater was like, oh chill.
Word.
Yeah.
Stupid. He's still alive.
Yeah. I was like, yo, thank God.
Nah, I like that. There was a huge sigh of relief, like when they were like,
Yeah.
we actually have a prisoner that could give
I
us
was
some
like, oh,
answers.
yeah. I was like, oh, thank God, he's alive.
Yo, but
Yo, what's your favorite part of the movie? Because for me, I think it would be like visually. I think it was when Palpatine did his fucking super ultra mega fucking lightning strike. That shit was wild. Like that made my over and zoom his fucking jaw drop. I look at everyone else. Everyone's like, "What?" Like that to me was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Yeah, Palpatine is like the most powerful Sith ever, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Junior, told you
not even close to Vader. I'm sorry.
Wow.
that he's bugging, bro.
Vader could not do what he just did.
Yo,
Exactly.
bro, who murked him? Who picked him up over his head and threw him off?
Vader,
Him and
but he's
Luke?
still alive.
Hold on.
He's still alive.
Hold on. I said Vader, right? That's all I needed to know. Thank you. That's all I
Yeah,
needed.
but who's
Yeah,
still
Luke's
who's
out.
still alive?
Who's in our intro? Thank you. Bye. You don't know.
No, thank you.
Yo,
No,
yo.
thank you.
Ariel, switch it to Palpatine.
Yo, Ariel, if you do that, bro, I will be
Switch it to Palpatine.
Yo, shout out
to one of his corny ass
Just-
lines from
nah,
the
just his laugh.
the
Just put
prequels.
his laugh from the trailer.
Nah, to
All
be
right,
honest,
I'll
though, that
put-
laugh is tough though. I'm on front.
I'll put the laugh in. That's
He's
fine.
still pussy though. But shout out and RIP to Carrie Fisher, who we got archive footage that was obviously, that was that because she passed away before this.
Yeah,
She passed away before the other one dropped, right? Before episode.
before Last
8?
Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really surprised she was still in this movie, but they gave her an awesome sending off.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
No question. How come she only turned into a Force ghost after Ben died?
Yeah.
You think it's because she was
Because-
helping him?
No, I think it's because. To me, I think it's because she was.
She wasn't gonna move on until he did, maybe kind of
Exactly.
think
Maybe
she- yeah.
until he like I don't know you can interpret that any way you want. I just think that it was just beautiful how like his last hope of even getting to where he got was his mom. Like I just love that, and I love how Maz Kanata was like goodbye princess and stuff. I
Yo,
got goosebumps. I was
Hug
like,
your
oh,
mom.
what?
Hug your mom. That's what it is. That's the whole theme of his arc.
Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Oh my god.
Yo!
They've been listening to us.
Nah, that's a bomb.
Word.
That's a bomb?
That's a bomb. Nah, but legit,
But-
like
No,
maybe,
yeah,
maybe
you're
all
right.
this time.
Go
maybe
ahead.
Kylo just needed to hug his mom.
What I wanted to say was, I think a lot of people, how we talked about earlier, that stuff isn't. We're finding this out now just because we're all talking about it, and
Yeah.
it's like people haven't been. This is not spoon fed to people, so they probably don't understand. They're like oh, like we want this. They want literally people to say, oh, what we just said. They want them to say that in the movie, like, oh, why did she only disappear now? Oh, probably because she was still helping Kylo Ren when he was doing this and that. And people be like, oh, word, yeah, that shit was fire, bro. Like, no, just think for yourself. Like, do what we're doing right now. Talk to your friends. Start your own podcast.
Hug
Like,
your mom. Put
Hug
a
your
hat
mom.
on. Put a hat on.
Don't start your own podcast. We don't need competition.
We don't
Yeah.
got
No, I'm kidding.
competition.
I'm kidding.
What are you talking about?
Nah,
I'm
but
kidding.
like, is there a specific moment that you're like, yo, this right here makes this stand out from everything I've ever seen ever in Star Wars?
Just how much they
Ooh.
use the Force. Like that's I'm gonna say it again. Just how strong they really like use it and all the different techniques that they had. The Force healing, the FaceTime, teleporting objects, fucking how strong the lightning strike was. Like I don't know, Palpatine using it to make himself younger again between
for
the
me,
both of them.
For me, it would probably be just how deep
I
of a
bet.
movie this one was. What? I thought you were finished talking. I'm sorry.
No, I am.
Oh,
So
okay.
what the fuck?
All right. So anyway,
Nah, this was deep, yeah.
yeah, it was like a lot deeper than a lot of all the other ones. I feel like, in a sense, just because of like, you have two people who are like kind of, at
The
odds, I
same.
guess.
But they're the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, exactly. They're so similar, in their own ways because they're both so confused, and they both end up choosing the right choice, which is to stay on the light or on the light side of the force instead of switching over or something like that. So like I think it's very interesting to see how people deal with I guess like all this terrible shit in their lives, like Rey not knowing her parents and then figuring out her grandparent is like the most powerful Sith of all time. And then
we didn't even know that Palpatine was like smashing like that to even have kids.
Yeah, what was that about?
Clapping, bro.
Like, I guess he was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this time that people think I'm dead, and I'm
find
gonna
myself a shorty.
Some sheeps with my dusted ass.
Wait, so
how many? That's dirty.
Does that mean that the parents we saw in the movie, like that like the father, like her father, is Palpatine's son?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, I can see why people could complain of things like that. Like, that's understandable. Why not?
Nope.
Why not?
Nope.
Why not?
Why not? You know why?
Why?
No, thank you.
Okay. So I can see it. Right. Okay. I guess you could say it could be nitpicking, but in a sense, you kind of do want that explained.
Well, I definitely do. Because I wanted Snoke explained, and it explained him in the most simplest way ever. He was like, "Oh, my boy, I made Snoke. I am the every voice." Like, that was like one sentence, and it's like, that was
I still think that's fine.
Yeah, no, it is. But they could have done the same thing with wait, but
maybe take into account that Palpatine's son was a bastard.
Huh?
Maybe Palpatine's son was a bastard.
Yeah,
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Exactly. Maybe that's why Kylo was like, fam, your parents were nobodies, fam.
Right.
Your parents like.
Oh yeah. Didn't they say that they left, that Palpatine kind of like or whatever, like somehow they left. Oh no,
they left Rey on Jakku.
They were leaving. Oh, sorry, no, I got confused. Yeah. Rey's parents were leaving her on Jakku to protect her from all that shit.
I think
but really, what happened is that they got picked up by that bounty hunter.
I read some shit online where like apparently they confirmed that Anakin's father is Palpatine.
I don't even want to get into all that.
Yeah, because like how does she I don't know, because she was pregnant out of nowhere, right?
I don't even know who you talking about.
Oh, you talking about Anakin's mom?
Anakin's mom, yeah. What do you mean?
Well, I don't know, bro. That's George Lucas. No, for real.
We gotta watch the Phantom Menace again.
Oh!
That's why nobody knows. That's why nobody knows.
Thank you.
It definitely is explained in the Phantom Menace, and everybody's like,
yeah, not trying to watch it.
Imagine that shit is so ass that people are just like, nah, make something else.
Give it a different reasoning. Now, what I wanted to say about that bounty hunter though, Ariel, is remember, we got to remember that. Who said that? Oh, because they thought that Palpatine wanted to kill Rey, but Rey, I think Palpatine's the one that explained to her like, no. Someone else said that no, the bounty hunter wanted her alive. Like Palpatine wanted her alive. Like he told that bounty hunter to get her, but to keep her alive. And then that's when he died because he got into the quicksand. And then they found his skeleton like years later, obviously. But I thought that tied in really well. And to go back to your question of a powerful moment that I think will live on from this saga, the Star Wars saga, I think that's probably what they're gonna call it, is Rey looking up at the end of the movie and saying the line that she said when she was first meditating in the movie, "Please be with me."
Yeah, be with me.
And I think if people go back, and don't worry, guys, you don't have to go back watch the prequels. I will never recommend that. But if you go back and watch the originals, if you go back and watch The Force Awakens and watch The Last Jedi and then watch this, I think that makes 100% complete sense and comes full circle. And it could also be people are just so pissed that it had to be a female leading all this. Well, go hug your mom, because fucking Daisy Ridley killed it.
Smoked it.
Killed it as Rey.
Round of
Yeah,
applause. Round of applause for Daisy Ridley.
for sure, for sure.
And
Shout out to all our listeners from UK too.
Or John Boyega also killed it.
Oh, word, yeah.
Yeah, John Boyega smoked it,
Yeah,
and
he's
and
funny, bro.
Oscar
Him and Paul are
Isaac.
funny.
Oscar
Yeah.
Isaac, yeah, he has two first
Are they
names, so
all
you
from
know
the
he's
UK?
nice. Nah, Oscar Isaac is from here.
I was about no, because I thought we were just applauding the people from the UK. Because
Oh nah.
yeah, I was like, oh shit. I'm like the whole cast, but no. Back to that scene though, like her just looking up at the stars, which is also just like it ties obviously every intro to a Star Wars film is the stars in the galaxy. So just her looking up to that.
Fam. And you hear every Jedi's voice.
Every
you
Jedi.
You hear Obi-Wan. You hear fucking Yoda. You hear Luke. You hear. I'm pretty sure I heard Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm pretty sure I heard
You don't
Leia.
hear Anakin though.
Yeah, he's pussy though.
You'll watch. No, Anakin is Vader. Vader is not. You're right. My bad.
Wait, Junior, back to what you were saying about who killed Palpatine. It wasn't Vader. It was Anakin. So he might have. So
He was in the Vader suit though. No, stupid.
nah, but it was Anakin. It's when he became Anakin. So you're just wrong, nigga.
Yo.
It's just like Kylo going back to being Ben. I didn't know you guys were talking about one scene. I thought you meant like, I don't know.
You were. They man say, "Yo, this was lit. That was lit. This was lit." Nah, I appreciate that. The whole movie was lit though. Stupid. Oh yeah, listeners who think it was whack. Nah, JK, I'm not stupid. Stay listening. All right, ready? So what
a cleanup.
Nah, man, that scene it hit different just because they're taking everything they've done in the past and everything they've done now in the present and just putting it into one, one cohesive story and one cohesive person, which was Rey. And the last scene of her when she goes back to where Leia and Luke are from.
Well, more Luke. From
Sorry.
Naboo.
Right,
Yeah.
Naboo.
I mean, no,
And-
not Naboo. Tatooine.
Well,
Yeah.
Yo, I thought we were gonna see Mando for some weird ass reason.
Yeah, me too, because I saw the little guys.
You talking about the Jawas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fam, if I see a Jawa, I'm swinging, bro. Those assholes.
Word. But and then the lady was like, "Oh, I haven't seen people here in years. Like, who are you?" And then she sees
yeah.
Luke and Leia, and
The
she's
Force
like,
Ghost.
Ray Skywalker, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yo."
And then ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding,
But-
ding.
Yeah, and it's definitely about like, overcoming your blood and like like realizing that just because your like an ancestor did something doesn't mean you have to follow in the same suit.
And that goes to tie in with Leia and Luke trusting in that although she has Palpatine blood, that doesn't mean she's a Palpatine. And that's why they knew about it the whole time and never said nothing to her because they trusted her enough. They knew
And and I think
that she was. They knew that
exactly
the Force was strong with her.
And I think that had she known, maybe that would, because again, remember, Rey is also significantly younger than how old. Like basically, Rey is young enough to be impressionable.
Right.
Like for Palpatine, like imagine if Rey had known from the jump who she was. Palpatine could have easily scooped that and been like, "Yo, like you're the new Sith, you're the new Sith master, like you're the new Emperor and stuff. Like here's the fleet that you could command and like take over everything for some reason, like whatever. Go ahead."
How did she find out she was a Palpatine again? Who told her? It was Kylo?
It was Kylo. Yeah.
Was it when they were FaceTiming or?
Force FaceTiming.
No, when they were actually, I think, seen together because he was like, "I know who you are," and he was like, "Let me meet you in person and tell you." I was because that's when the Vader, the goat, dropped the statue of his helmet. Did I mention Vader's the goat? Okay, cool. So I thought that was just so nice as well to see, and this obviously this whole arc was about the Skywalkers. And what I said earlier too, which Mark and Brian actually brought up a good point that I mentioned, because if I thought they were gonna tie it in more to Kylo Ren, but we obviously started the Force Awakens with Rey, so if we're gonna start it with Rey, we're gonna end it with her, and it's not
Exactly, bookend it.
exactly. And what would it have been dope to see Kylo Ren be the main, of course, but definitely Daisy Ridley as Rey absolutely killed it. The whole story arc I think was dope. So that's Simba.
Yo,
Yeah.
is there anything else y'all want to touch on?
There's a lot more we could touch on, honestly.
Hey, Simba.
That's my cat for anyone wondering. Simba the cat.
Yo, Zoom, is there anything else you think we missed?
I'm just trying to think if there's anything important that we need to address right now.
Her dope ass saber.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Her saber was
Oh,
sick.
you talking about the yellow saber?
Oh my god, that shit was so fresh.
Yeah.
Shorty took the soul stone and put that shit in a saber, bro.
Word. Oh, and just the scene of her, spotting Kylo with the saber behind her back. She was like, "Here you go, my man."
That shit was
fire.
lit.
And
what do you think about the Knights of Ren?
Oh, whatever. They look
cool.
intimidating, but
They're mad
didn't,
pussy though.
right. They didn't do much, and then he
You
ended
know
up
why I
killing them.
think. You know why I think that I'm fine with how they ended up, because they teased them, but again, it was more of a. It was really old school. Like, I don't know, that's some shit you would see like in an 80s movie, like where you see the henchmen that can't be fucked with, but when
Right.
they actually get confronted, like they're kind of soft.
Yeah.
So like, also it shows how much Kylo stood out from all of them, because Kylo was the only one who was force sensitive in the Knights of Ren.
No, they are all for.
Then how come none of them has sabers, Mr.
'Cause
Correspondent?
They're not. Well, how come Finn doesn't have a saber? He's force sensitive.
Ooh, you got it, pussy.
They're confirmed. They're confirmed to be force sensitive, and that's the only reason why I know. It's because I just saw that. But or else you wouldn't.
Damn, bro.
Wouldn't know. Or else you wouldn't know at all.
Yeah, I mean, back to your point, Ariel. Like, were they cool? Sure. Did I really care? No.
Yeah, I don't care. Like,
Right,
there were people who are legitimately upset. Like, man, the Knights of Ren is so
I know.
cool. Like,
yeah,
yo,
I know. And I'm like, 100%. If they were more in the story, you would have been tight. They're like, why do they show them so much? Like, get to the main story. It's always a
Can't win with these
lose-lose.
guys.
It's always a lose-lose. But that scene and then them just joining together to beat Palpatine was dope because, like Mark said earlier, he is the one that put them together and connected them to the Force, and that was his downfall. And them fighting against him together was fucking awesome. Her reviving him on the boat, and then him doing the same, not reviving him, but healing his wound, like she did with
that was a sucker shot too.
OD.
That was an OD sucker shot.
Because,
but again, also showing how Rey can also become unstable if she gets angry enough.
And she did it with his saber.
Yup.
Boom. Unstableness.
Poetry.
Unstableness.
Unstableness. Is that a word?
I don't know. It don't matter.
Hold on.
I like how Mark comes back in just to so you know.
Seriously, unstableness the word.
Here's what I found.
Unstableness synonyms.
Yeah,
it's a word.
But is there anything else, gentlemen?
It is a word. It's in the thesaurus.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good too. I think.
Where do you guys think they go from here now?
They go to greatness because Kevin is in charge of what comes next. So I got Kevin Feige.
Brother.
Wait, he is?
Oh, now he's just gonna spoon feed everything.
He is?
Yeah,
That's not good.
Yeah.
that's all right because this is Hug Your Mom Part 2, and you guys gonna be all right. No matter what.
Spoon
But,
fed plots,
so
baby.
Is Rey like obviously Kylo's Kylo passed away unfortunately. So is Rey done? Is
Yeah, I think
Finn
Rey's
done? Is
arc
Poe
is done. No, I think that Finn and Poe and C-3PO and R2-D2 and BB-8. No, not BB-8 because I'm pretty sure he's staying with Rey. But I think R2, C-3PO, Chewie, Poe, and Finn. I think that they're gonna continue on. That they're just gonna bring them in with whoever like the new characters are. Because you have to, bro. Like like there's a reason that they kept Chewie in through everything and 3PO and R2 and stuff. So like I don't see why not you could put them in because remember
Well, I don't know about Foe and Pin. They might just start. I mean, I don't know. That's a good
yeah
point.
because remember like a lot of Star Wars, a majority of these films is more fan service than it is anything else. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think they would include them. I don't think they would stop from including them in any future film. So
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Force is balanced because of Rey and Kylo, which I'm happy about. She didn't turn dark. He came to the light. He had a good touching moment with his family. She realized who she was, but her true family was her friends and Luke and Leia. It was dope. It was dope. I don't care. Go hug your mom.
all right,
And
so
I look forward to the Star Wars future. If you haven't been watching The Mandalorian, we highly recommend it. We have the Obi-Wan series that's gonna come out soon.
yeah, Disney Plus.
And we probably won't get another Star Wars movie announcement for the next 2-3 years, I believe.
Yeah, either at like Comic-Con or D23, like we'll probably get something.
And I guess we're gonna get a solo for Lando and his daughter.
Please no. It's fine. We're good. No, thank you.
Jana, that is her name.
But yeah, guys. For those who stuck around and actually enjoyed the film, that's great. Shout out to Ya for caring like just about watching the movie and for the experience. And for those of you who didn't like it, you know, if Palpatine could get some and like procreate, there's hope for you guys too. All right.